Welcome back. We are headed to go get gas on this windy day. Wind is a sign of springtime here in New Mexico. I don't know what it's like where you guys live, but freaking windy. Oh snap. Anyway, so today we are gonna go fill the car up with gas real quick, and then I'm headed over to my parents' house. I'm working on the water methanol. Well, it's more like a water injection system. This car is, or these cars I should say, are notorious for being just extra hot. The intercooler bricks don't do that much in the supercharger itself. So I am hoping to aid them with a water injection system so I can just have that spraying pre-throttle body. And solely for the purpose of cooling down intake temperatures. I don't want excess water or excess methanol, whatever I decide to spray, going into the engine, like as a liquid. I would rather just have it all evaporate by the time it is at the intercooler bricks, so we can cool air temperatures down and get the densest air possible, as well as control the IATs, because supposedly I haven't driven this car in the summer, so I don't know if the IATs are actually that crazy, but everyone says this thing heat soaks really bad. So trying to alleviate that and address that problem before we have a problem with that. So yeah. And we're also gonna go, I told you guys that I ordered that ECS tuning, the Kevlar reinforced belt. It's supposed to come yesterday, Friday. Today I have a belt coming into O'Reilly's because I found them online. They sell Gates belts at O'Reilly's. They had them in stock in their Albuquerque warehouse. Got one shipped down here. Hopefully it's long enough. I think it was like 51 and 5/16 inch belt. It translated to 1306. And I have the 1310 on order, but it's not here. I'm freaking antsy and I want to just do this, so we're gonna try and put that belt on. So I'm gonna go to O'Reilly's first as well, and then we're gonna pick up that belt and we'll try and install that, because like I said, I think this one is slipping like crazy. There is rubber dust accumulating everywhere, and yeah, I just want a fast car, guys. I just want a fast car, man. Give me that fast car, man. Alright guys, so got the gas. We're here at the gas station. Got our e-pump right here, chilling. So fill up with about 5 gallons when it's at a quarter tank. So 5 gallons of E85 and 6.5-ish of 91. It usually lands me in the 40s, sometimes a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. Usually a little bit lower, but I think as we're coming into the spring months, it's going to be a little bit higher ethanol content in the gas, so yeah. Alright guys, so I made it back to my parents' house, and we picked up the belt. However, online, it didn't say the actual like part number. So I mean, it has a part number, but it didn't say the 7PK1290. If it would have said that online, I definitely wouldn't have bought this. That's way too short. So it says 1305 on the outer circumference, which is the equivalent of 51 3/8. I thought that was going to be the inner size. If that was the inner size, this thing would probably work perfectly, but I'm not even going to attempt to put this on. So we got an extra belt. I already have 3 supercharger belts for this thing, guys. We got the one that came with the CTS pulley, this one that I just bought, this one that came on the car, which was upgraded single pulley, and well, that was a fail. I thought that was a shelf. That's definitely not a shelf. And then we have the 1320 that's on the car that I'm going to be replacing with the 1310 from ECS. So dang, we got all the supercharger belts. We can do all kinds of pulley combos now. We're ready to start hitting the drag strip. I'm gonna buy more pulleys and we'll start hitting the strip and getting this race program dialed, boys. The main reason what we are doing here is fabricating up this water injection sprayer, so we can spray water pre-throttle body and cool our intake temperatures and hopefully alleviate any heat soak issues that the car is rumored to have. I haven't dealt with anything crazy yet, or I don't think I have. The car runs just fine. I don't beat on it crazy because one, we're still on the stock clutch. Two, I don't want to blow it up because I don't fully trust it yet. And three, still on the stock clutch. Anyway, we're going to be doing like a pre-throttle body water injection system. So we have, this pump is rated for like 8 or 9 psi, something like that. It'll be like a return style system, just like what's on the Jetta. So pull water from this tank, pump it through. This straight line is going to go to the nozzle. This one will be a return to the tank there, so it'll have a return for anything that's not going into the car itself, and then we will control it by like a little, I was using small little like restrictor pill pieces that fit in the silicone line, and then the sprayer itself will be its own restriction. It just depends on how much flow you want going to the sprayer or how much flow you want going back. We're definitely going to use larger line than this. This was just mock-up purposes. I want to get this system all running before we even attempt to put it on the car. And again, I really don't want to start running wires through the car. I want to keep it kind of nice. In case I did end up selling it in the future, I don't want to have a bunch of just random crap. I'll be able to take it out and you'd never know it was even there. And I don't want to have to undo any wiring and stuff like that. This is very easy. There's a power outlet right there where I'm going to mount it, over by kind of like the windshield washer fluid in that little bin in there. This thing is small enough to where it fits perfectly. It only holds like, is it like 2.5 liters or something like that, so you'll have to refill it quite a bit. However, I'm really not worried about that. The car is not tuned for it. This is not a fuel supplement or anything, so running out really doesn't matter all that much. Anyway, I had already started kind of wiring everything up, so we've got the actual on-off switch for the system. This is going to run, if you guys know the Audi S4, they've got like a little power probe thing underneath the hood, so where you would charge the car. And there are a bunch of power outlets right there that have like a nut holding a circular mounting piece like this, and then there's an empty one. So this fits perfectly right there. And then we have the ground right on that shock tower. If you guys know S4s, again, there is a ground location right there on the shock tower or strut tower, whatever you want to call it, where I can ground this. We've got the plug for the motor as well here, but there will be no power going to the motor until it reaches a certain boost pressure. That is why I bought the boost tap for the car. So we will have boost running to this. I think it's set at like, I want to say it was like 10 psi for this switch, something like that. I did buy a new switch, however, it was the opposite of what I needed. This one is a normally open circuit switch, and I had accidentally bought a normally closed circuit. So how this one works is, since it's an open circuit, it takes the pressure to close the circuit, and then with an closed circuit switch, there would be power running to the motor the whole time until it reaches that certain pressure, and then it'll turn the power off, which would work for other situations, but not mine. So we're going to get this thing all figured out. I'm going to put it in a bin. We're going to mess with nozzles today. We'll get the spray pattern and all that stuff all figured out outside the car. It's super windy and cold, so I really don't feel like installing it on the car right now, but we'll get it figured out and finalized, so when we do install it on the car, it'll be pretty straightforward. The hardest part will be just getting this guy mounted to the car and tucking the wires away so it looks pretty. Like I said, I really don't want to be spraying a crazy amount of water or water methanol or whatever I decide to spray out of the car. We're just going to spray what is necessary to cool intake temperatures and not oversaturate the supercharger or oversaturate any of that stuff, even though the steam cleaning benefits would be good maybe in the future, but for now we're just gonna spray conservatively and make sure everything's happy with the spray. Alright guys, so I definitely lied. I thought the wiring was correct. It was not. That is why we are bench testing. So on this switch, it has power all the way at the end and then the accessory in the middle. Everywhere else online said power goes to the middle and the accessory would be on the end. And then obviously there's the ground on the other side, but that was totally wrong. I plugged it into this battery and immediately the ground wire got like burning hot and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, well, I wired it correctly, but obviously I didn't. I didn't read the switch. I negated all of so it has ground, accessory, and power on here. I ignored that and just did it how the online forums and all the YouTube videos said, and that wasn't right for this switch, so always make sure you double check. That literally could have been a car fire. And then I also do have to add a fused socket onto the power side so we don't have any of that issue, but yeah, that could have been a car fire. Alright guys, so we got everything all figured out. We got the wiring all fixed. I had the power going to the center terminal like the internet said. However, this switch wants the power on the outside terminal and then the accessory on the middle terminal and then ground on the other side. So flipped all the wiring around. We are good. We're not going to start a car fire now. That was super sketch. So we've got all our wiring complete. We'll have to clean up everything. Heat shrink is already installed. We just got to kind of tuck everything into a nice loom and make it look pretty. But for now, we're good. So ready for testing. So we've got it hooked up to the battery. The switch is turned on. Green means on. And we have our Hobbs switch hooked up. So that is in control of the ground for the pump here. And then the switch is in control of the pump getting power. So when the switch is on, it's getting power to it. But this pump is not grounded until the circuit completes once a certain boost pressure is hit with the Hobbs switch. So we have my bike pump acting as a boost source, and then we have a gauge here just so we can see so we can adjust what the Hobbs switch activates at. So yeah, that is all that. And then we've got our cute little tank here. Oh, look at her. Bought it on Amazon. It's actually decent, like 30 bucks. Decent little thing, and it'll work for my small little application that we've got here. And then of course we've got the pump. We've got two check valves to kind of keep it from siphoning. However, with this return line, it's just siphoning slowly through the return line. It's not siphoning from the actual tank here. It's just bleeding through here, so we'll have to reroute these and put them at the nozzle here, and then we'll probably have to buy another one and put a check valve in the return line so it doesn't backfeed as well. But yeah, so we are ready. We've got a nozzle in there, as you guys can see. A little slow drip, but here is a little demo of how it works, and we'll watch the gauge, see when it cracks open. So that's about like 4 psi that it's cracking open at. And here is what the spray looks like. So it's a really, really fine mist. I don't even know if you guys can see that on the camera. Hardly. But a really, really fine mist. It is enough to get the floor wet, obviously, and like I said, I really don't want to be adding like a supplemental fuel for the car. I'm fine where it's at. We're not looking for any more power. We are just trying to cool the intake air temperatures and keep that stuff under control for the upcoming summer months and all the heat that the car is seeing with the supercharger being worked harder with the dual pulley. We're just trying to help out the supercharger cooler cores be more efficient and work a little bit better and really pull the heat out of the supercharger. So that is the main goal with this system. But so far, it works. So we'll get a couple more check valves off Amazon. We'll get that all squared away. We're obviously going to run the lines a little bit different and run the check valves in different places, but that is a basic setup, and it seems to work decent. So one more time for you guys to see. So once the boost pressure is achieved, it sprays, and then it doesn't show it, but you can kind of hear the return in there. So any excess fluid that's not going to the nozzle is coming back up and then returning back into the tank. And yeah, so we'll have to do like a measurement to see how much fluid is actually getting sprayed, but it is a decent amount, honestly. Like, that is quite a bit of water that hit the ground there. So it's not bad. It'll definitely cool off some intake air and hopefully not oversaturate the supercharger or anything like that. But if it's coming on at 10 psi, how much air is creating 10 psi? Quite a bit. So I would assume we should be fine, but yeah, you never know. We can always mess with it and tweak and whatever. Anyway, guys, I am super pumped with how it came out. It works just fine. Got some trial and error stuff out of the way, which we would have experienced on the car, and that would have not been fun because the car battery is a lot stronger than this battery, so we could have potentially started a fire. Like, seriously, that could have been so bad. But glad I figured it out. Glad we got this system working. There's little things that we need to iron out, but overall, the system does what it needs to do and is basically ready to put in the car. We just got to mount it in the car and create a bracket to hold the tank, but that shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, we'll probably just catch up with you guys tomorrow. I get the new supercharger belt, so we can put that on and eliminate the belt slip. And yeah, still some more projects with the car coming up. I still got to do brakes and stuff, hopefully in the next week or two when it warms up. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.